Our next conversation is with Holly Page, co-founder of the centrist political organization No Labels. They've made the ballot in Colorado as a third party as they explore the potential of a unity ticket for president. Holly, welcome.
Thank you.
What is the goal of No Labels?
The goal of No Labels is to give voice to the common sense majority of voters, 77 million plus voters who do not see their values and concerns for their communities and hopes for their nation reflected in the national conversation.
No Labels has brought Democrats and Republicans together in an interesting way in agreement that a No Labels candidate would hurt Joe Biden's re-election chances and help Donald Trump. Prominent national Democrats gathered recently to talk about the threat that they see to Biden's re-election from No Labels. And the head of the Colorado Republican Party out here said he was fine with the No Labels candidate because they'd pull from Democrats and not Republicans. Are you comfortable if No Labels ends up being a pro-Trump spoiler?
We have no intention of spoiling, and anybody who's saying that they know exactly what would happen is misleading the public. All we're doing right now is gaining ballot access on the presidential line only in case the common sense majority demands a third choice for president of the United States in 2024. That's what we're doing. We've not made any decisions beyond that. And there's a lot of turmoil and nervousness, hand-wringing in Washington. And I think, frankly, they could be using their time much better, reducing the price of eggs, dealing with the cost of rent and mortgages and gas, and just letting us get to our business of getting ballot access.
So your own polling found that if you add an unnamed moderate independent candidate to a Biden-Trump race, then the third-party candidate takes more votes from Biden than from Trump, and Trump wins. Your own polling shows that a No Labels candidate would hurt Biden.
No,
and
our
help
polling
Trump.
does not show that.
That's your Harris-X polling
shows
from December of 2022, where in a head-to-head you had Trump up 1, you add your moderate independent candidate, and Trump's lead grows.
First of all, the key word in that is unnamed. Everything changes if the common sense majority decides that they do want a third choice for president in 2024, and then real candidates are named. Then it becomes an entirely different conversation. But our polling shows, just like Ross Perot did in 1992, that he took evenly from the Democratic side and the Republican side, and a third of his voters would not have voted. Our polling and modeling, by the way, we do a lot of modeling based on facts and data, shows the exact same thing.
So this idea that your polling shows the third-party candidate taking equally from both, math is not my forte, but you had a head-to-head matchup and your pollster found Trump by 1. Add your candidate, Trump's lead grows. That's your polling.
We can go over the math some other time, but the bottom line is, until there's an actual name, it really doesn't matter. What matters is that there are 77 million plus American voters who do not see their values reflected in the conversation, and they want a different choice. And No Labels is working to give that to them. And people are conspiring to prevent us from doing so. It makes no sense.
I apologize. Didn't mean to interrupt you there. Who's going to pick your candidate?
There is a nominating committee, and we will have a convention with delegates, just like the other parties. It will be hopefully in a great affair that we'll invite you to, by the way, in April of 2024.
The Lever, which is a progressive news outlet founded by Colorado's David Sirota, calls No Labels a dark money front for corporate interests. Is that true?
Absolutely not. In fact, we don't take any corporate money. Any organization like ours, we're a 501c4, just like the League of Conservation Voters. We do not disclose donors, but you need to judge us on what we're doing, not the intentions of any given donor. It is really, what are we using our collective energy, time, and treasure to do? And it's to give the American people a choice when they've been very clear. They do not want a rerun of 2020. They don't want a conversation about the past. They want to move into the future, and they want problems solved.
So, as you point out, you're not taking money from businesses, from corporations, but the question is whether essentially you're a front for the people who run those corporations, the people behind them who can give the money. Why not tell folks who your funders are?
Because it opens people up to incredible scrutiny, pressure, ridiculousness, to be quite honest. Judge us by what we are doing. Judge us by what we say. And what we are doing is giving voice to the common sense majority. And I know you know who they are because you probably talk to them in your everyday real life. They're everywhere, and they do not want a repeat of 2020. So we are laying the groundwork to have the option available to us. And I would encourage my friends on the Democratic side, instead of trying to prevent people from having access to voting, that they speak to the common sense majority, that they compete for these votes, because we are not going to decide if we're even going to move into a presidential nominating phase until next spring, when we see who the two parties have nominated. They have it within their power to basically squeeze us out. If there's no clear path to victory, we won't go. So the two parties should spend less time trying to prevent people to vote, more time speaking to men and women across the country who are working hard and playing by the rules, as my old boss Bill Clinton used to say, and frustrated by the antics in Washington, D.C.
One of the largest issues these days in Colorado is abortion rights. Colorado has recently passed some of the strongest abortion rights protections in America. As a result, there are people flocking here from other states where different states have restricted abortion. Where does No Labels stand on the issue of abortion?
For now, the Supreme Court has spoken. It's being settled at the states, and No Labels has nothing to contribute to that.
So essentially, the status quo is No Labels' position on abortion.
Well, if there is a presidential campaign, then obviously anybody who would be performing at that level would have a history and a point of view on that particular issue. Listen, the American people are tired of being pitted against each other. Right now, the Supreme Court has spoken. Until that changes, we're going to do what we said we would do, which is get on the ballot at the presidential level to offer the American people another choice in 2024, because they do not want a rematch.
So while New Labels might be new to some folks, people who've paid attention to Colorado politics have known that No Labels has been involved in a number of very key races here over the last decade. In 2014, No Labels played in the U.S. Senate race, helped defeat a centrist Democrat, Senator Mark Udall, by backing his Republican challenger, Cory Gardner.
That's not quite true, by the way. That is not true. What happened was we have a problem-solving pledge that we asked all candidates to take. Senator Udall didn't want to take it and didn't want the problem-solving seal, and his challenger did. We did not go into that race and pick one side or the other. The sitting senator declined to be a part of our commitment to deliver results for the American people.
You didn't back Cory Gardner in that race?
What happened was he got the problem solver seal of approval because he took the problem solving pledge. So you may call it a backing, but actually the record shows we offered it to both of them. One just didn't take it.
And then you also did get out the vote work for him.
Then there were people who did, people affiliated with the organization who did show up because he said he'd be a problem solver. That's what we are interested in promoting.
And you spent money on Cory Gardner's behalf in 2014 as well. You gave him the seal, you did get out the vote for him, and you spent money on his behalf, but you don't like the word backing?
Our objective is to promote the politics of problem solving. That is what we're in the business to do. So if someone says that they are committed to that, then we're going to help them. But I think it's important to note that both candidates were offered the seal and one declined it. History has been rewritten by folks who don't like that fact, but that is the truth.
In 2012, Republican Congressman from Colorado, Mike Kaufman, promoted the racist birther lie that President Obama wasn't really an American. And then the next year, he got the backing of No Labels and continued to have that for several races after that. Is there anything that a candidate could say or do that would disqualify them from getting your seal of approval?
You know what? I was not active with No Labels at that time, so I don't know anything about that. But guess what? People don't want to talk about 2012, okay? They want to talk about 2024 and beyond. They want a conversation about where we're going, not where we've been. So for folks who want to join with us and facilitate a different future for this country, challenge the status quo and the orthodoxies that have given us the politics that we're dealing with today, I invite everyone to come to nolabels.org and fill out our form, and you will be followed up with by an actual human being.
I have one last question for you. No Labels designated Donald Trump as a problem solver in 2016. You stand by that?
Again, we had an event. Everybody who came to the event got the seal. You know, I mean, it's incredible how these facts get rewritten and distorted. He solved some problems and he didn't solve others, just like every other politician in Washington, D.C. But the bottom line is this: we want to move on. We want a new conversation. We've got many challenges facing this great nation. And the only way that we are going to prevail and extend our amazing legacy is to come together. So we do not want to allow any more of the politics of polarization, pitting Americans against each other. I mean, you have campaigns, you have elections, you hash it out, then you come together and you solve the problems. That's what this is about. And I know it's a new concept for many people, especially in the media, but it is what we really are about.
Holly Page with No Labels, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.